God. Hey. How y'all doing? Y'all know where I am. I got my boots on the ground. Yes, y'all. I am in New York. I just came back from the Diddy trial. This is not really day one, but day one of opening arguments, y'all. Let me see. Let me check the comments. Hey, loving myself. How you doing? Thank you for joining the chat. Please hit that like button. Y'all, I'm loving myself. Lulu said to tell you, hey, and she came to your channel just to let you know. So, I am in New York. I am okay. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Gotta take care of yourself, girl. But tonight, y'all, I am talking about the Diddy trial. I went to the Diddy trial day opening statements today, and it was crazy. It was a bombshell. It was a eye opener. Actually, you know what? I don't know if she's here. She's not here yet, but she had been a little bit not feeling well, so she'll let you know when she gets into the chat and everything. Y'all, I gotta tell you, day opening arguments today at the Diddy trial. Y'all can see I was advertising. I'm the only one I saw out there with a little logo on the t-shirt. Celebrity Scandalous, okay? T-shirt. I got another one, but I left it at the house. But anyway, it was so many people there, you guys. It was awesome. It was like the Super Bowl of YouTube for us YouTubers. I met and saw so many people. I don't know if they're here now. I know she had a birthday. They were here last week, but I don't think they're here this week. Yeah. But you guys, let me tell you, I saw a lot of big YouTubers. There were people here from CNN, all the major networks. People I saw their faces, but I didn't recognize them. I mean, I recognized them, but I didn't know their names. So many people. And y'all, I got the freak off nails, got the white nails, because y'all know Diddy liked the freak off nails. I got the freak off nails. But when I tell you, it was just incredible. I'm going to talk about some of the things that happened in the courtroom. So I don't remember what the courtroom setup was like previously, but there was the main courtroom in which Diddy was there. Most of us didn't get in because they mainly had the press and they had some public seatings, but most of us had to go into what they call the overflow room. So we were able to see Diddy on the monitor and we could hear, right? So that was great. So we could actually see him. Now, somebody last week had said something about Diddy was bald and everything. No, he's not bald. His hair is very, very gray. And again, I saw it on the monitor, so it looked white. I don't even know if gray, white, whatever, but a stark difference from what we're used to seeing Diddy. And I think he had something on, maybe a little on his chin. I couldn't really see because it was a little bit far. So Diddy was, of course, in this courtroom. He had a sweater on, like a beige, white. Because we were looking at it on the monitor, it was a little bit, the color wasn't true color. But, we saw Diddy. Now his mother, see the way it was interesting, the way they had it, because it was like 3 rows, which I've never seen it done that way, but this is federal court. So what we saw was the 6-pack of white women, what Garagos called them, the 6-pack of white women were in the front. Loving Myself said they said he looks bad. I mean, different people. Again, I was not in the courtroom to actually see him face to face. I saw him on the monitor. And I mean, to be honest, a lot of different people had different different opinions as to how he looked. I had heard that he was emaciated and really thin. He wasn't, and it could be the sweater kind of bulked him up. But he, like I said, I could see him from a distance. He didn't look like bad. He did look thinner. But he seemed to be. He came into court, stood up, looked around. He wasn't slumped. He was very erect. He set up very attentive. When the defense, which was Tenny Garagos, when she was talking about him, she was saying the defendant, Sean Combs, she had him stand up and he stood up and looked around, so very, very Diddy-like. He was not withdrawn or anything like that. So we had the first row was the 6-pack of white women, 6-pack of attorneys. Diddy has about, I'm going to say 8 to 10 attorneys. Okay, so here's the thing. Not only does he have attorneys that are in the court, like the ones that are on record defending him, the attorneys, because they're different law firms, those attorneys have other attorneys that were in the court, like in the overflow room. So I got to meet some of those attorneys. I got to meet his publicist. Her name is Holly Baird. I mean, oh my God, it was so many people. We got some inside stuff. It was amazing, amazing. Hey, Jay-Z, welcome to the chat. Please hit the like button, you guys. I'm trying to give y'all everything. Look, I got all these notes from today. I met infamous Sylvia, so you guys go check her out. She has the transcript, so if you want a line by line from the court reporter, the court stenographer, she's gonna have that. But I'm giving you all these notes I took while I was in there. So like I said, Diddy looked good. He had Brian Steele was there. Mark Garagos. I don't know. You know what? I got to look at my notes to see if he was sitting, because they kept throwing his name out. I saw Mark Garagos coming in. Like when you're standing outside, we see, oh, y'all, I saw Jaguar Wright. I know I'm just, listen, let me tell y'all something. Before we even get into this, like I said, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to start. I'm going to give some out to my subscribers. If if I get your address or whatever, I'll just send them to you free. And then I'm going to start selling them. Y'all, I was like, Rumi Carter. Y'all remember how Rumi was jumping with Beyonce? That was me. Ain't nothing wrong with Rumi. She was just excited because I was the same way. I was like, oh my God, I had so much energy that I was just so excited, y'all. Y'all can call me Rumi Carter too. When I tell you, you look to the left, you see somebody, you see this person. I saw Armand Wiggins. I saw Tisa Tales. I saw Max V World. I call him Max V. I mean, I saw some TikTokers, people I didn't even know. People were like, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so, and so-and-so. But the main thing was the fact that in the overflow room, the group of ladies that I was with, we got to sit with people that are, on the Diddy's team. Diddy has so many lawyers. The lawyers have lawyers, like the associate lawyers, the people that are assisting, doing research, getting everything. So just to let you guys know, Jamie. Okay, so here's Jamie. So it says JC. So this Jamie, I met her today. She has TikTok, and Jamie put it in the chat. I don't think I can't. My mom is not here, so I'm not really good about that. But put it in the chat. Y'all go check her out. She's gonna confirm everything. Well, not everything, y'all, but she can confirm everything I was saying, because she was right there. We were in the overflow court room. We were sitting on the first row, right? So, like I said, there's the courtroom, there's the overflow. We were in that first row. We were right in front of the monitors, and all of the people, the extra attorneys, the paralegals, the assistants were pretty much sitting on our side. And it was, all throughout the court. But y'all, let's get into some stuff. And JC, drop your information in the chat and anything else that you think I'm forgetting that I didn't mention. Okay, so, so we could talk about it. And I wish I knew how. If you want to come up, I'll try to figure out. Can y'all hear me? What didn't you hear, loving myself? It's so many people. JC might be able to, I call her Jamie because that's how I met her today, as Jamie. But we saw all of the attorneys were there, and their assistants, people like their legal team, the extra associates or the paralegals. We were sitting kind of in a cluster with them, so we got to ask some questions. So one of the things, and I don't want to get out of order, but it started with the jury selection. Y'all, the very first thing, Mark Agnifilio said when they were selecting the jurors, he said that he noticed that the prosecuting team had eliminated 7 Black people. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. 7 Black people. So he challenged that. He was like, I see a pattern here. And I could understand it because the jury is so important, right? So he's like, wait a minute, hold up. Y'all have eliminated 7 Black people. Why? So he challenged it. The judge allowed him to, I don't want to say if they called it a motion, but he allowed an application to question, and the judge allowed it. And as it stands, the judge agreed with the prosecutors because they had to go through the list of all the reasons why they eliminated each one of those black jurors, y'all. Because remember, the defense team, they want black men. They want people who can understand Diddy. They want people who are going to be sympathetic, and black males, so they challenged that they lost that battle. So there was not much to that, but I just thought it was interesting. His okay, Jamie says she's on her way home. Let's see. So they did mention unconscious bias and stuff like that. So that was really interesting. Okay, so then the judge, he kind of went over what we should consider evidence. So, I mean, that's pretty routine and standard. And then the attorneys, they did their opening arguments. Comey went first. Well, that's the prosecuting side. And then there was Diddy's team, and Tenny, I think that's how you say her name, Tenny Garagos. She did her opening statements. Now, this is up for opinion. This is everybody is entitled. I personally felt that the prosecuting team, with Comey giving the opening statements, that she was the better presenter. I'm just saying, I'm not even talking about the merits of the case and how they presented their arguments, but just her argument overall. I'm not talking about, well, did she make the better argument, but her presentation, her demeanor, she seemed very comfortable. Tenny was somewhat monotonous and just didn't have to me, enough to command the jury, in my opinion. So they go on to talk about they give their opening statements. So essentially, let me see. So basically, what the prosecuting team is saying is that there was, y'all heard, let me say this. A lot of the things that you heard in the media in terms of what his charges are, pretty much they kind of regurgitated that. Same thing, nothing new there, right? Racketeering, trafficking, bribery, arson, prostitution, that stuff. And so that's their argument, that he was running a criminal organization enterprise for the sake of taking advantage of women and all of that trafficking type of stuff, right? So they talked about that. Now the defense is saying, no, it's nothing. There's no trafficking here. These were consensual adults, a little bit freaky, but it was consensual. He didn't force nobody to do nothing they didn't want to do. So you see they're polar opposites. And when you listen to Diddy's team talk about it, okay, so let me kind of explain. One of the things I had heard that they weren't going to show that tape, the tape of Cassie in the hallway. They showed that tape. I don't know why everybody said that they weren't going to show it. I had heard that the prosecuting team said that it was irrelevant at this point because they had so much other evidence. No, day one, they showed that video. One thing that I noted is that video was longer than what we saw on CNN. So sitting in the courtroom and watching that video, it's different, because it's I think it was about 7 minutes, and then you actually see the hotel security come and talk to Cassie, and pretty much we do see the same interaction. Basically, the video that you saw from CNN, it shows their interaction when he was, beating her up and stuff like that. So that's what we saw. But there's a whole 7 minutes where you just see different things. Her on the phone, her longer, the security coming in and talking to her. Okay, so now we get into some issues. So the first guy was a police officer. I think he's LAPD now, but at the time he worked at the hotel. He worked at the hotel, and he worked for the security, Seritas security. Loving Myself says they don't show the security coming. Yeah, it's when they showed the video today, because remember Diddy's team was saying that it had been altered. So basically they wanted the jury to see the unedited version. So that's why they showed it to us. And the other thing is that the video, you're going to see lapses, like you'll see motion and then it'll be just still, like you're not seeing anything. And that's because they said the video would capture, y'all hit the like button for me, please hit the like button. They were saying that the video would only film if there was motion in the halls, because it was the hotel lobby, not the lobby, the hotel halls. So that's why, there's sometimes where it's just still, and then you see movement and stuff. But it was actually 7 minutes. Now, let me see. One of the things that was interesting was the fact that the hotel security, right? He's now a police officer, but back then he was hotel security. Brian Steele did the cross-examination of this guy. Now, the thing about it is he did the incident report. And some of the things that he said today on the stand was not in the incident report. And y'all know I used to be a litigation secretary, and I'm cybersecurity. So I understand laws and how you need to document information, and how, these reports and things, it's critical information, especially if there's an incident. So whenever you have like an incident report, and I know it varies depending on your industry or whatever, function you have, but an incident report is supposed to capture critical information, key information, and parties involved, all of those things. There should never be an issue. Everything that's critical to the case should be documented there. Well, today he said that when he saw Cassie after the incident, he saw the video, and I'm not going to get into all the minutia of what he said because I want to give you guys the high level stuff. He said that upon seeing Cassie, his testimony today was her eye was purple, like she had a purple eye. Hey, Sylvia, welcome to the chat. As you guys come in, please hit that like button. So, and you guys, just so you know, Cassie was there today. She didn't take the stand, but her husband was there. So we did see her husband, and her husband was in the courtroom with us. He was in the overflow courtroom. I don't know if he eventually went over to, the big courtroom where, Diddy and family was. I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to be in there with them, but we did see him at the back. But anyway, he made some statements. He said Cassie had a purple, her eye was purple. And so that means that she shown some signs of injury. Okay. Another thing he said was that when he went into the room, like when after the back and forth, and after he saw the video where they were going after each other, that he didn't necessarily go inside their room, but he went and kind of put his foot, how you the door's ajar and your body is halfway in there. He said there was a black guy or a male sitting on the corner of a bed. Now, the problem with that is that he didn't document that in the incident report, because remember, they're trying to say that situation that Cassie and Diddy had, they're trying to say that she was trying to escape a freak off at the time, because that would be kidnapping, and that's a freak off, and that would be aligned with the trafficking. So that's what they're trying to say. Well, the problem, hey, Swag Champ, hey, please hit that up. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Michael, I am in New York. Like I said, I'm like Rumi Carter. How Rumi was jumping up and down with Beyonce. That's me. Yes, thank you, Swag Champ. Please like, share, subscribe. Okay, y'all. So today in court, while he's under testimony, under penalty of perjury, he said she had a purple eye. He said it was a man in the room. But when Brian Steele, y'all know Brian Steele was Young Thug's attorney, Brian Steele jumped in there and said, okay. Let's go back and talk about what you said. Let's get back. He said, okay, he read the incident report. He said, well, she had a purple eye. So that would mean an injury. It's not in your incident report. That's a problem. I mean, he didn't say it was a problem, but I'm saying, so he kind of chopping at it. So you could tell the police officers get mad now, because he's challenging him, like, you getting up in here saying stuff you didn't say, 10 years ago or however long ago it was. All of a sudden, you got new facts and new details. And this is the incident report. This is the record, the incident of record. And these are key details. Why wasn't it in there? Hey, Lionel Dubai, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. Please hit that like button. Okay, so he was like saying, all of a sudden her eye is purple. So you remember that today, but you didn't think to put it in. He goes, well, he couldn't really answer it. So then he says, okay, so let's read this again. So you went into the room, you saw this man sitting on the bed. He was like, yeah. Brian still said, this was a presidential suite. So he started asking him, do you know what the rooms are like for a presidential suite? It would be like a living room setting and the bed would be somewhere else. You were able to see into the bedroom from the opening of the, and he was like, well, I mean, I don't think it was. And Brian was like, you don't think so? Okay, we're talking about Diddy. We're talking about Diddy's money. Y'all can't see, okay, because I have the green screen on. The room that I'm staying in New York is about as big as a bathroom, okay? Diddy didn't stay in stuff like that. So he's saying, so you mean to tell me we got Diddy, Cassie, a freak off, and it's like a standard size room? Are you kidding me? So he kind of got him there. Swag Champ says Brian's still going, Brian still was getting, okay, interesting, because they had the different attorneys doing different segments like opening argument, cross exams and stuff like that. But you ain't lying. Everybody said Brian still was going to eat him up, and he did. The sarcasm was so thick. He got this man, he had him pretty much like, well, he couldn't explain it. All he could say, because Brian was like, well, if that was, you're talking about it now, why it wasn't in your report? Well, I didn't think it mattered. No, but when you have a woman that's being abused and you're saying she had a purple eye, that's an injury. You didn't call the police. They didn't call the police. They didn't call the police. Like, you don't think that's significant or substantial or that should have been documented? No. You see another man, this woman has been beat up and she's running up and down the halls, and you see another black man in the room, and you didn't think that warranted a police officer? You see what I'm saying? So they're painting this picture, like the prosecuting team is trying to paint the picture that Cassie was in distress. She was trying to escape. However, the security, based on his incident reports at that day, So then, okay, let me see. I don't have a PayPal. I don't. Thank you, Lina Dubai. I appreciate that. At some point, I'm going to get my stuff. Loving Myself says, believe it or not, some of the celebrities, they stay in small hotel rooms when they want to keep a low profile. They do, but for the sake of what Brian Still was saying, I'm sure they have a record of the type of hotel room that Diddy was in. They have all the records, because that's part of what this case is about. They want to discredit, So when he was asking him, you could tell by the line of questioning that Brian knew what kind of hotel room it was, right? So he kind of talks about that. So he's kind of challenging him, like, if you felt that this woman was in such dire stress, like, you didn't do a police report and all this stuff. Now, one of the things that I noted was that when he was talking, he kept saying, well, when I saw Cassie, I broke it up. Diddy not standing no small. Yeah, no. Swag, exactly. No. Diddy was presidential. Because even when Brian Still asked it, I mean, the people, everybody started laughing, like, come on now, this is Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you gonna remember some details, you should remember that. But the one thing that I noted was, when he said that Cassie looked beat up and she was in such distress, one of the things he kept saying was that he told Diddy, well, you guys are going to have to pay for the damage, because I think Diddy threw a vase or something. I don't want to say for sure, because I can't remember if they say how a vase was thrown or a vase was broken. There was debris on the floor and some stuff in the room was a little bit beat up, right? So he kept saying, you're going to have to pay for this. Now, if Cassie had been messed up so bad, and I'm just kind of being objective here, just to give y'all a big picture. If Cassie had, Loving Myself said, it's a decoy hotel room. If Cassie was in such distress, why are you so focused on, you guys are going to have to pay for this? You guys are going to have to pay for this room. Shouldn't y'all be getting this woman some help, getting her up out of there? Okay. So then he says on the stand that Diddy had a devilish smile on his face. He's trying to interpret Diddy's demeanor. In his incident report, He never said that Diddy was uncooperative or difficult. But today on the stand, if y'all starting to follow me, he's painting a different picture of Diddy. Now he's saying Diddy had a devilish look on his face. What does that mean? Like, you're that's not, I mean, maybe that's your interpretation. So of course Brian still challenged that, like, what are you saying? And if that's the case, why wasn't it in the incident report? So he's like saying, well, I'm not expected, or I wasn't going to be expected to get every single detail. No, but you're supposed to get key information. If Diddy was being combative, aggressive, and if Cassie was still in danger, that should have been in the report, and it wasn't. There was another thing that I wanted to tell you guys. Brian still was asking him about, it'll come back to me. But it was some key information that, the guy said one thing, but it wasn't in the report. So Brian still starts kind of chip away at that. And I'm going to say it messes with the credibility, because you can't come back almost 10 years later and give us a different picture, because we're going to rely on what's in the record, because that's what you wrote. So he's kind of acting as if this incident report is significant, but it doesn't have all the details, which that's not going to fly. Because let me see what you guys, I didn't get in the actual courtroom. I was in the overflow room, so we had monitors and we could hear everything, so, but we could see him. Like, if you were in the courtroom, you would pretty much just see the back of their head. So we actually could see him because he was in the monitor, and they had like one big monitor and just different monitors throughout the courtroom. So Brian still was challenging him. Let's see. I got so many notes here, you guys. Let me see. There were some key things that I thought were pretty interesting. Let's see. The Brian Steele one, because that first guy okay, you guys. So I kind of forgot some of the stuff, so I'm gonna just tell you as much as I. So, do you think Diddy gonna beat the charges after? It's still too early. It's still too early, right? Because let me say this, you guys, and I'm not being linear because I'm reading what you guys are saying, so I'm probably not going to be linear in my. But let me say this: the freak offs. Okay, y'all jump in the comments and tell me what you thought. When they talked about the freak offs, I was under the impression that Diddy was doing some ORGIESs, right? I'm just assuming that everything is a big, all those celebrities are coming, and it's always, well, again, this is day one. Hey, 420 Jenkins, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. What we're seeing right now, just on day one with the opening arguments, and I mean, there are going to be other people testify, because we did see a SCX worker today. There was a man who talks about his relationship with Diddy and Cassie. Diddy seemed to have like some threes, right? And he called them the freak offs and wild nights and hotel nights. So he gave them names, but so far we're not hearing nothing about celebrities. I mean, I'm thinking on day one, the first thing we're going to hear is, well, I don't want to say Jay-Z, but I'm just thinking we're going to hear about Justin Bieber and all of these things, and the people who are part of like the Garagos and the people who are part of Diddy's camp. And I didn't get to talk to people on the prosecuting side because we were over in an area where it was heavily Diddy people, but a lot of them saw the tapes, and it seems like a lot of this was media made and to be salacious. From what I heard, somebody saw all 5 tapes, no minors, and nothing with the big parties where we're having celebrities. So I don't know where I don't even know how that got started. Maybe they had stuff at parties, and maybe they have celebrities in compromising positions, but it doesn't sound like the video evidence is going to be that out there, the way they told us. Like, I'm thinking it's just going to be a whole bunch of craziness. No. Okay, so, okay, let me see. What are you guys asking? Smiling isn't being combative, so I could see why it wasn't in the report. Yeah, but see, what they're trying to say, though, they talked about that video. And so what the prosecutors are trying to say is that Cassie was trying to escape a freak off, and Diddy, the defense attorneys are saying no, it was a bad relationship. Oh, because so they talk about, so what they're trying to say is that it was a bad relationship and that they had gotten into, it was a DV situation. They're saying that the tape that you saw was a domestic violence situation, but that does not equal sex trafficking. I mean, that's their argument. So see, they're worlds apart when they talk about what went on that day. And that's pretty critical, because if Diddy pulled her back in and it was a freak off, that's kidnapping, that is trafficking. If Diddy pulled her back in because they were fighting, that's domestic violence. And I know this is simplistic the way I'm explaining it, but that's kind of what it's boiling down to. They really need to make it, they really are trying to prove that it was a in progress freak off, that he had held her and he wouldn't let her go. And that's why the gentleman who was in the room was a key piece of evidence. If there was no other man in the room, then you can't prove that that was necessarily a freak off at that point. I'm just saying you have to look at it like that, because the evidence is not supporting it. And that's what they're trying to prove, right? So the fact that he didn't mention that the man was in the room in the report, why is that different now? Oh, it's different now because y'all need to make it a freak off. This is another thing that everybody was like, oh, the guy who was the police officer, y'all, he's a security person, right? You know, on your job, like if you work in the hospital, you are not supposed to access anybody's medical records. You know that if you have security video footage and things, it stays in the system. It's the software is owned by the hotel. You are not supposed to do anything. This mother ducker, okay, the security guy, he took his cell phone because he didn't have access to download the videotapes. So y'all all know where there are certain tapes where you want to show your friends and, oh, this happened. Because he eventually found out that it was Diddy and Cassie, and, you know, so then that's exciting. I'm on the show. I mean, I was there. He was there. He wants to show people. Well, what he did was he played the video on the company software and he recorded it on his cell phone. You know, that is a no-no. That's a breach. That is a breach. So Brian still kind of goes down that road like, interesting. So you're recording, like, why are you recording it? You know, he was like, well, because I wanted to show my wife. You see what I'm saying? So everybody, you got people with dirty hands. If everything was so bad or she was so abused and beat up, and I'm not saying that she wasn't, but your focus was on recording this to show your wife, like, huh? So, I mean, those things are relevant because you're more interested in making this a spectacle, you know, and now 10 years later, you have new details that you didn't talk about before. So Brian still talks about that. So that was witness number one. Like I said, his credibility was a little bit shaky because the story was changing. Then we get the SEX worker. So the SEX worker was interesting because he talks about how he first met Cassie, and they're trying to paint the picture that Cassie enjoyed it. I mean, they are. Honestly, I can't, I don't know. I really can't even say because I haven't seen the videos, but the SEX worker, and you know, with YouTube, we have to be careful. He kind of talks about, he had multiple incidents with Diddy. Excuse me, you guys. Another key thing I want to talk about is if you listen to social media and a lot of the different reports we've heard, they talk about Diddy liking men or doing stuff with men, but the one SEX worker says that Diddy was like, he don't get down that way, or Cassie said it, one of them, and Diddy never engaged with the men. He liked to sit back and, you know, watch. Okay? So that was a bit shocking to me because I thought that when they did their freak offs that he was doing, that Diddy was watching, but also doing Cassie and the guys. So maybe I misunderstood what the freak offs were about, but it just sounded like Diddy was pretty much into three ways. And I mean, kinky, Now, there was something that was a little bit he liked to see the men do stuff in her mouth, right? I'm not gonna get into, y'all can use your imagination. It just was kind of, and it just it was a lot. I mean, there's certain things that was just like, oh, this man, he would film it, and if this was his girlfriend, for him to be okay with some of the things that allegedly he did was too much. Now, you guys, the other thing that was crazy was the fact that when the sex worker, I kept trying to look back and see, because by then it was so crowded, her husband was in the back of the court. So I feel like, did he sit there and listen to all of this? Okay, let me see what you guys are saying. Swag Champ says it's gonna be crazy. It is. And degrading things. Another thing that they try to paint Cassie is the fact that she filed this lawsuit when she was living at home with her parents. So it sounds like her and her husband were living, because she had started dating the husband, and it sounds like her and the husband were living in her parents' house. So she may have been somewhat desperate for money. Another thing we found out, you guys, was that Cassie wasn't trying to press charges against Diddy. She pretty much wanted the money. Now, again, this is all per interpretation. I mean, only Cassie can say what her true intentions were. But it sounds like Cassie never expected this to escalate to the point that it did. She didn't. Cassie was just interested in getting that $30 million. And it was only when the feds kind of escalated it and took it over that it was like, oh, no, you're going to have to testify. Now, this is what I'm hearing. Wait, hold on, you guys. I got to clear my throat. 1 second. So what I'm hearing from people, again, the attorneys are stating Cassie did not want to participate in this. And I heard this 6 months ago, and I came on my channel and I said this, but I didn't have a source. I couldn't refer back and say who I'd heard it from, but I knew I had heard it. So I was trying to find the videos. There's thousands of hours on this, so I couldn't even figure out who said it. But today in the courtroom, I have multiple people confirm that Cassie did not want to testify. So what does that mean? Cassie is listed as a CI in paperwork, confidential informant. So there's two things. Hey, most hated Bronze, thank you. Welcome to the chat. Good seeing you, Bronze. I am in New York. I keep saying I'm like roomy, y'all. I'm excited, child. Okay, so a confidential informant, a confidential witness. Okay, y'all stay with me. I be getting so excited. I be losing my train of thought. Let me put this down. So, as a confidential informant, I went to the FBI Bureau of Investigations to kind of read the definitions, because I never worked for the FBI. I was a legal secretary, but I know all of that stuff. The confidential informants, generally, we're gonna say 99% of the time, the reason they're informants is because they have information on them, and they could be co-conspirators, or they have done something where charges could be brought upon them. A confidential witness is a person who, witness number 3 that they kept saying didn't want to be a part of this. I think she was listed as a confidential witness. The confidential witness may be somebody who's not necessarily a party, or who may not have ever done anything wrong. So there's a difference. If I'm a CI, a confidential informant, that means they probably got some stuff on me that's like, okay, celebrity, we saw you doing this with Diddy. You could be complicit. You could be a co-conspirator. Do you want to tell us what went on with this enterprise and flip so that you don't get some charges? I'm a confidential informant. If I'm a confidential witness, hey, celebrity, we know you were with Diddy. We want you to testify. We have some information. We're going to subpoena you. We know you guys dated. We're sure you have some information. But it's not like they can press charges against me, or they don't have nothing on me. So I'm just a confidential witness. A witness and informant. The informant has probably done something and has been complicit. So what I'm hearing, and this isn't a fact, this is just speculation until we get anything further. And I talk to people on Garrett who's work with Garrett goes, it sounds like Cassie, they could have brought some charges up against Cassie. Let me see what Loving Myself is saying. I'm just not realizing that you said that Diddy likes his girls wearing white. Yes, girl. I got the freak off nails. One hand is red, but yeah, I got the freak. I just had to come. Y'all see, I got my shirt. I was advertising. I had to get the freak off nails because I said, just in case I'm close to Diddy, I'm gonna be hey, see if he kind of glitch or something. But yeah, so that makes a lot of sense in terms of Cassie not necessarily wanting to testify, because when they talked about some of the things that she did, and I'm not, and no judgment here, because Diddy may have made her do it. I don't know. But nobody wants to repeat that. If I got paid $30 million for me to go away and not have to have myself be drugged through the mud as a woman and all these different men you were with and all the stuff that you did, it's just not, and I feel sorry for her as a victim. Nobody wants to have that kind of information about them out there. You don't want your children hearing stuff like that, whether you did it willingly or against your will. It's just sitting there. My heart just went out to her. As a mother, it's like, damn, and to see that video again, like I said, the video was longer than what they showed us on TV. It just made me say, oh my God, this is terrible. Swag Champ is laughing. I had to get the freak off nails. Swag Champ said her husband is brave to go hear all that. Absolutely. Because I kept looking back saying, where is he? At some point when the ex-worker, because he was back there when the guy came on the stand, and because I didn't really know what this man was going to say, because, they just say witness so-and-so. So, we sit there, and once he starts giving these graphic details, I turned around like, and he was gone. I don't blame him. You don't want to hear that. His wife is pregnant now too. And so they're saying that people are speculating that they're probably going to bring her onto the stand either tomorrow or Wednesday. Wait, so Loving Myself says you didn't finish reading the rest. Reading what, Loving Myself? Tell me, because like I said, y'all could call me Rumi Carter too. And everybody talk about Rumi got people who saying she got issues. No, she don't. She's just a little girl that was excited. If I was on the stage with Beyonce, I would be acting crazy too. That's my mama. All these people looking at me first time, I was acting a fool today. People was like, lady, do you get out the house? Have you ever been into a court before? What is your problem? You know what I'm saying? Are you so-and-so? Are you? Yeah, so Rumi is good. She was just excited. And I'm got the Rumi Carter. I got the Rumi Carter bug today. Yes, 420 Jenkins. I had to get the freak off gear, right? I had to get and look, I got what's her name? Black China right here, the Kardashians and Beyonce. So hey, okay. Swag Champ, that's why he wasn't in the same. Yeah, that would have to be a lot. Swag Champ says it would have been an instant divorce. But he's been an advocate for Cassie. That's another thing. So let me tell y'all this. So what they were saying, okay, so let's go back to the video. So they were saying that, so of course the prosecuting side was saying, he's horrible. Look at what he did to Cassie. You could see this video, and we all saw the video. And like I said, so many people said they weren't going to show it, but they showed it. Diddy's team, the defense attorneys were saying that Diddy was, okay, they talked about Cassie getting those bags. And a lot of us are debating this. I heard him say that Diddy was trying to get his phone. So they tried to make it seem like it was a lover's quarrel. Tinny Garrigos was saying, if you look closely at that video, there's a scene in which Diddy snatches the phone. So basically, she's trying to say that it was a fight, a lover's quarrel, that Cassie had got jealous or was going through his phone or something like that. However, and so that's what it was. It wasn't a freak off. It was just two lovers got into an argument. she went through his phone and he was trying to get his phone and they were tussling. Oh, y'all, let me okay, let me write this down. Leave. Okay. Her to leave. Okay. That's what I want to tell you guys too. Okay, so she tried to say, well, no, he was just trying to get his phone and it was a lover's quarrel. Now, when the prosecuting side talked about it, they said it was Cassie's phone, and the police officer kept reiterating, saying, Cassie just kept saying, he said, do you want me to call the police? She said, no, I just want to get my things to get my phone. I just want to get my things to get my phone. So I don't know whose phone it was. I mean, he's saying that Cassie said she wanted her phone. However, the defense is trying to make it sound like Diddy snatched the phone because it was something in the phone. It was his phone. I don't know. Oh, that's another thing. Okay, I'm trying to tell you guys this too. Okay, so the attorney, LAPD, he says, so again, the credibility is an issue. So he says today on the stand that Diddy told her, and this is key information because this is where they're trying to say Diddy was kidnapping her. Diddy told her, you're not leaving, because she said she just wanted to go. He said, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. Brian still don't play no jokes. Brian still was like, huh? Brian, see, and this is the thing. They read these documents. So they like, listen, y'all. If I got to read something, I'm probably missing 89% of it is a skim reader, right? Brian still said, oh, whoa, hold up. So you're saying Diddy wouldn't let her leave. Diddy told her she couldn't leave. Oh, but sir, in your report, you said Diddy told her after the security people got involved, Diddy told her to go. That's a big difference, because if she's saying she's fearing for her life, one second, you guys. Hold on. I got to clear my throat. I was talking so much, you guys. It was so much going on. If they're trying to say that she was being held against her will, that's key. That's key, because she was saying like she was so scared. They had to get the security to help her get away. But now in his report, he says Diddy told her just go. So that's Diddy trying to de-escalate, for Diddy to just say, girl, bye, or whatever, right? So again, there's some discrepancies as to what happened. What will the jury believe? Swag Champ says it's the pollen, it's allergy season. Yeah, I think so, because I got my halls in there too, because in court, you don't want to be coughing, people be looking at you crazy. Y'all, Gloria Allred and Lisa Bloom, her daughter, was there, because they both have some civil cases against Diddy too. And okay, so the security guy, he was telling a story where so he was kind of putting the 10 on the 2, y'all. Like Max says, putting the paint where it ain't. He was saying that Diddy snatched. There was another security guy that came into the room, and he was saying Diddy snatched the phone from him. And Diddy said, "Are you recording me?" So this the police officer, LAPD, says when Diddy did that, he hammed him up, right? He pushed him up against the wall, put his arm on it, kind of hemmed him up. Now, he in front of a courtroom. It's some pretty women sitting out there. So he kind of feeling himself. Well, Brian still said, interesting. Your incident report doesn't say that. Basically, what your incident report says is that Diddy snatched the phone and you kind of tried to move his hand. You had him pinned up against the wall. And I thought it was funny because everything that I heard about Diddy, even Tenny Garrigo said in the beginning that Diddy has a temper. So, and we heard, Diddy will go buck wild, right? So when I said, and he wasn't a police officer at that time. He was hotel security. Now, I don't know about y'all, but my daddy used to call hotel security people $1.25 cops. Okay, that's just old school. $1.25 cops. You can't really make no real arrest, so we ain't tripping off of what you say. So I can't imagine that this man was him and Diddy up. I was like, what? Because he didn't look that big. But anyway, when Brian still was cross-examining, he had him clear that up. He was like, so did you hem him up against the wall or did you swat his hand? What did you do? And it was like, I don't know. Oh, whatever's in the report, but I did kind of get him up against the wall. So this guy, his story, I'm just saying, Brian still was able to poke holes in his story. It just kind of wasn't landing. It was like, okay, well, I don't know. So I told you guys they talked about the CNN video. And they're trying to paint it as a toxic relationship, is jealousy. The defense attorney. Oh, so there's a Jane Doe that they talked about too. So we haven't seen the testimony from Jane Doe, but this is a girlfriend that he dated, and it was kind of a low-key relationship, and it was after Cassie. Now, some people think that it is 50 Cent's baby mama or ex-girlfriend, right? The Asian girl that he dated, the one that 50 said was oh, I know, how do you know? Because I don't, okay, so they think that it's her. Now, we don't know for sure, but it's a Jane Doe. She doesn't want to disclose her identity, but basically they're saying that same things happened to her. Diddy had her arranging situations with men, having the three, and that eventually he got violent with her as well. So I don't know if I told you guys this, but the prosecuting really did talk about how physical Diddy was with Cassie. They said he really banged her up a lot. So they're saying that Jane Doe says the same thing. So they're saying that not only was he verbally abusive, but that he was physically abusive as well. Oh yes, thank you, Swag Champ. I need to make you a mod. Can I make you a mod? I'm asking. Just say, you can say, and if you don't, it's fine. I will not be offended. So they're saying that. Oh yeah, okay, y'all. I done lost my train of thought. Swag Champ, let me know if I can make you a mod though, because I really appreciate your help. Y'all, please hit. Okay, thank you. So basically, they are. Dang. Okay, I got to figure out how to do it because it's not letting me do it right now. I don't know. Okay, but as soon as I get it, I'm gonna do it. Because I appreciate you. Thank you. So we got the Jane Doe. They're saying he did the same thing to her. So she's going to come and testify. They also have a young lady who worked for him. Her name is Maya. And it was real interesting because what they're saying is that, like, Cassie, the situation with Cassie was that she got away a couple of times, but and they didn't talk about this, but this is something that people were talking about in the courtroom. So I haven't heard actual testimony, but the fact that there was one incident where Cassie got away, and allegedly it's in a court document that she says he sent somebody to get her, and he said that if you don't come back, I'm not going to put your record out. So they're kind of questioning, saying, well, a lot of the things you put up with Diddy because you wanted this, you wanted the fame. And I understand women stay with men for a variety of reasons. And if somebody is holding your career over your head, that is a reason to go back. But some people don't really care for the fact that if you were being beat up so bad, F the record, right? F the career, girl, go be safe somewhere. So that's kind of something that we're talking about in the courtroom. And people have different opinions about it. It just varies. That's one of the things that came up. But Maya was one of his assistants, or she was an employee. And so they're trying to say that, they did say that he kidnapped her on a couple of occasions, had her get out of the bed. I guess she stayed in the house with him. They're saying that they got some pow-pows, got her up out. They were going to look for Cassie. They're saying that she stayed with him for some whatever she did in the house. He would go creep up in the bed and have unwanted relations with her, even though she didn't want to do it. And so then again, people who have kind of read the complaints from cover to cover have said that although she said that he did these things, years later she wanted to work for him again. So, a lot of it is because there's so much money involved, you kind of don't know why people said or did what they did. And they're kind of questioning, like, if all of these things happened 15, 20 years ago, did you ever go to the police? That's a reoccurring theme or question. Like, what did you do about it? What did you do about your safety? So you wanted this more than you wanted to be safe. And did you go to the police? And what we're seeing is nobody went to the police. All they did was give me the money, right? Loving Myself says that's why Aubrey didn't last, because she wasn't having that from it. I remember Aubrey O'Day, Loving Myself, because I don't know if you saw my channel, but I had interviewed Malika from Making the Band, and she was there with Aubrey O'Day back then too. But Malika says that her experience with Diddy wasn't so bad. Yeah, so they're gonna talk to the Jane Doe. Um, you know, they're saying again she was another jealous woman. There's talk saying that Diddy had multiple women. He never got married. Oh, they did mention Kim Porter as well. So what they talked about in the beginning was Kim Porter and Cassie, that one of the reasons that they had a big problem. Now, this is from the defense side. They're saying that Diddy started dating Cassie. He never broke up with Kim Porter. Now, one of the things that I wasn't quite sure about, because I think the defense was a little bit ambiguous, is when Tenny was talking about this, she kind of made it sound like Diddy and Kim Porter had a relationship up until 2018 or to her death. So I was a little confused about that. So I don't know if she means that they had a physical relationship, or I don't know, but she said they had a relationship, and she says up until it ended, I was confused about that. So, but what she says is that Diddy always had Kim Porter in his life, even when he was messing with Cassie, and Cassie didn't like it. And so what they're trying to paint the picture, and a lot of us talked about this, because I think we all kind of landed that the defense is trying to say that Cassie was mad so let me rewind. So after Kim Porter died, if you guys remember Cassie and Diddy had broken up. I don't think she was married to Alex Pine at the time. Maybe they were dating. I don't know. But what happened is that after Kim Porter died, she came and was by his side. She flew to wherever Kim Porter is from. I want to say South Carolina or Virginia, but she was there with Diddy, right? She flew actually to where Kim's family was, and she was there by his side. She said she wanted to give him support. What happened is that during this time, she was by his side in Kim Porter's death. Now imagine this. Okay, y'all I gotta clear my throat. Hold on one second. Okay, so Kim Porter passes. Cassie, after all these years, because he's been paralleling these girls, right? I think Cassie became the main chick and Kim was in the background, but Kim never left. Kim dies, so Cassie takes the forefront. She consoles him. Not to say that she didn't like Kim Porter, but they did have a rocky history. From other reports, they never really got along. I mean, Diddy was always a point of contention for the both of them, right? Kim passes. Diddy comes forward and he says, she was my soulmate. So they're saying that once Cassie realized that I don't know if she wanted children with him. I don't know. That's some other stuff people were talking about. But once she realized, and once Diddy came out and publicly made that announcement that Kim was my soulmate, I loved her, I should have married her, all of this stuff, that's when Cassie was literally done. I don't know what y'all think about that. Do you guys think that that could have been the catalyst for her to just be done with his ass? I don't know. But it makes sense. I mean, because here you got her standing next to him, while he's grieving his ex's death, the woman that you done cheated on me with, but I'm by your side, and you got the balls to come up here and talk about, she was my soulmate. Da-da-da-da. I would be pissed too. I would be pissed, heartbroken, hurt. It makes sense. I can see it. I get it. So they're saying that's when Cassie decided, I'm done. I'm really done. And then after that is when, they were saying that Cassie was kind of broke. They didn't have no money and she needed to get a bag because she was going to be writing a book. But then it was like, okay, I'm going to put this information out if you don't pay me. So that's kind of where they landed. They didn't really get deep into that, but they talked about, Kim passing and the fact that Diddy had been dealing with her up until, the death and everything. So basically he was playing both women. And they talked about the fact that Diddy, they didn't call him a womanizer, but the way they described it, I mean, he was a womanizer, and women allowed him to do that because he had money. I mean, it is what it is. But his attorneys, the defense, they said that he had a temper. They said that he was abusive. They admitted all of these things. But when they admitted it, they said, yeah, we're admitting all of this. That rises to the level of domestic violence, not trafficking, right? This is another one I wanted to tell you. Okay. So the police officer, he was talking about, like I said, he kept talking about, he told them you're going to have to pay for this, the damage and everything. And it's like, okay, if Cassie was so beat up, banged up and in such distress, why are we getting this woman some help? Why are you so worried about them? They know they're going to have to pay for it. That's fine. So so they're saying that they're talking about bribery, right? Bribery is illegal. And I don't know if there are going to be more instances. The way I'm seeing it, because this is just day one, they're probably going to have more cases of bribery. But the police officer says that, he's a security person. I'm sorry, he's an officer now, but he was security then. He says, and this is where Brian Steele was really crafty. He was saying that after the situation occurred, and then the phone, they had the phone exchange where Diddy says, are you guys recording me and all of that? He says when he came back to the room to make sure everything was, he was like, you guys are going to have to go because we can't have you disturbing the other guests. This is too disruptive. Diddy held up a stack of money. Okay. Now, he didn't say how much money, but he said it was a stack of money and it had $100 bill on the top and maybe some other bills in the middle. So what he was alleging is that Diddy may have been said, make this go away, or I don't want to hear about this no more. So like, gonna give him some money for the tape. I'm assuming like they weren't really clear. They kind of started going down that path, but they didn't really wrap it up. And we couldn't just say, hey, what do you mean? Right. It's just like, okay, we just kind of got to listen. But it kind of sounded as if he was saying that Diddy was going to give them money to just kind of make this go away. Don't call the police. Don't do anything. But and I don't know if that was in his report. I have to ask tomorrow. The offering the money, interesting. Offering money, was it in the report? In the incident report? I'll have to see if somebody else knows if it was in the report, because I don't recall whether or not they asked him about that. But when Brian Steele came, he says, oh, so did he have money? He was offering you money? The guy was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. He goes, oh, didn't you say that they were going to have to pay for damages? So you see what I'm saying? So in one vein, the prosecutors are trying to say that Diddy was offering a wad of money to bribe for the video, which he probably was. I mean, hell, I would. But the defense attorney was like, but you told them they tore up the hotel. They were going to have to pay for it. So could he not have just been offering you money for the damages? I mean, it made sense, right? So that's one thing. So I thought that was a good catch because I didn't even think about that. So it's like, they're going to continuously throughout this process try to say that Diddy was, trying to offer bribes. Then after he went off, then we get to the SEX worker. I kind of briefly touched on that. He talked about how he met Cassie. She was always the one who would contact him. He talked about how, so again, like I said earlier, I had been hearing things about Diddy with other men and everything, but so far, it doesn't sound like Diddy was into the men at this point. he just wanted to watch Cassie engage, and then maybe he do something with. Oh, y'all, the baby oil. Now, I don't know if this is a fact or not, but what I've heard is that they never found any GHB in that baby oil. That's something that we started online, and I must admit, I had heard Sylvia, the psychic, say something. I did a video about it, but I said it wasn't proven. It was just a theory. And then, then it spread like wildfires. It started kind of like on TikTok. There has not been anything substantiated that there was the GHB in that baby oil. From what we're hearing today in court, Diddy liked to watch them oil each other down. And they didn't say it got them inebriated or high or anything. So they said that was, y'all might know what this is. They said he liked baby oil and Glide or something, some other kind of lubricant. But basically what he would have them do is the Cassie and her other partner, whoever the other man was, they would just be rubbing each other down, and he just liked to rub down, baby, But they didn't say nothing about any drugs in it, right? So the whole GHB, maybe it was, but at this point, they didn't say that it was. And another interesting point was the SEX worker. They asked him, because I think he was with Cassie, and then they messed around for a couple of years. And they asked him how often, because they're saying that Diddy would feed DRUGSs to the women, right? He said he only saw Cassie messed up, high, like one time. So that kind of, and again, this is only day one, so maybe we're going to hear worse stories. But the way it's been promoted in, the media was that he had her drugged up all the time. Now, did they take them together? I don't know. I don't know. Y'all, I don't know if they took them together. And y'all hit the like button for me, please. Please get the likes up. I don't know if they took them together, but they're trying to say that he gave them, that he fed it to, or made people take it. I can't remember, and I apologize, you guys. Oh, yeah. Okay, so the SEX worker said that one time he took some ECSTACY. Y'all, I'm probably not spelling right because I'm not really, But he took some, and he said he got so high. So when he would get with them, when he would come to the hotels, they would give him like $200 at the beginning or whatever. And then as it progressed, or whenever it was over, by the end of the night, he usually would get like $2,000, $4,000, $5,000. So it was very profitable, right? And the sessions would generally last, it could be an hour or two to up to 10 hours. Okay, so these things will be long, right? So one time he took some of that EX, right? And so when he took it, he said it made him feel weird, and he said he felt euphoric. And this was in New York. So y'all, this man said he took the money that they gave him, went down to Times Square, and was giving people $100 bills. Damn, I was in California. I wish I was out here to get 100. So, y'all, I got a call. Hold on. So he said that he took the money that they gave him that night, and he was so messed up mentally, he was giving away the XEX money. Now, another point, I believe it wasn't Brian Still, it was the black attorney, and I apologize, you guys, I forget his name, Xavier maybe. He was on cross-exam of the SEX worker. He was asking him, he was kind of trying to establish, was this were you getting paid for this? Because the SEX worker was saying that he was like a female, like he said he wasn't a prostitute, right? He said he was like a exotic dancer for women, a male stripper. So he said he didn't generally have SEX for money. So he said that once he was actually filling in for somebody that his manager had told him that, Cassie and Diddy had needed somebody. He didn't know who they were at the time. and they needed a male to come to do like a party for some women. And once he got there, Cassie let him know that it was not for women. It wasn't a bachelorette party, because that's what he thought it was. That it was, hold on, you guys. That it was actually for her and her husband. She referred to Diddy as her husband. Oh, come on, her husband. And she was saying, my husband likes to, this is a special occasion. Well, it wasn't a special occasion. It's something they do all the time. And so after that first encounter with them, he would meet with them continuously. And another thing, it sounds like, is that these freak offs or hotel nights or wild king nights or whatever they call them, that they would do this at least once a week. I mean, it sounds like it's just like hell. It's like they do that, like they go to dinner. Like, oh, okay, what is it? Tuesday? Yep, time for a freak on. Oh, yeah, follow. No. And they would have to have certain things, the lubricants, like the baby oil, the slip and slide, slip and glide, whatever that stuff is. Another thing that was interesting is he didn't really want her to use condoms. Now, I thought that was crazy, because he doing it with her, you doing it, like they wasn't using protection, right? That was a bit much. I don't understand that, but that's what it was. So they were trying to ask him, was he getting paid as an ex-worker and stuff? Because that's illegal. So his answers did, because they were kind of being combative, right? They were going back and forth, and now the day is getting long, and now we all getting tired. Like, oh Lord, like I mean, it's exciting, but it's like my leg hurt. Da, da, da. So he's acting as if the money, he didn't necessarily take it for the X part, but he said he would have done it for free. Now that was interesting. He said because he was just so excited to be in the presence of them, that I don't know if he said that he didn't get paid all the time, but that he wasn't doing it for that. Like, and almost as if they gave him money it was weird how it was explained. I gotta read over the transcript. I'm gonna see if Sylvia has it, because that was unclear to me. Are you saying they just tipped you as a friend, or were you an ex-worker? What was it? But anyway, so he talked about that. He says that there was at one point after so long where he stopped being involved with them, because he said that after the first time he saw Diddy hit Cassie, that kind of turned him off. Then it was no longer, he couldn't get, you know what I'm saying? Like, he couldn't get it up no more. So he said that once that happened, he tried to reach out to her and tell her she didn't need to do that. Like, why are you staying with him if he's doing these things to you? So he kind of corroborates the stories that Diddy was abusive to Cassie. He never said, that Cassie responded, or she ever explained why she was staying with him, The defense was saying, like, while they're saying that he was so abusive and all of this stuff, the defense is saying, no, these people liked his lifestyle. He never made these people be there. He didn't force them or intimidate them. They wanted the benefits that came with the lifestyle, right? So they're trying to say, no, he didn't coerce them, because they're trying to say it was coercion, and, he's like making them, be around and stuff like that. But the defense was like, no, they were free to go. They got paid. They wanted to be there, and that's what it was. Nobody held a gun. Oops, can't even say that on YouTube, but y'all know. Yeah. So basically, that's what they were saying. And I'm just trying to skim. There was so many. It's so much, you guys. Let's see. They, like I said, they kind of say he was a womanizer. Said he had 7 kids. He is physical. They said he's physical abuse. They said he was a DRUG user. They said he loves baby oil. And they said he has an alternative lifestyle, but that doesn't mean trafficking. And then they talked about what a RICO means too. And a RICO is generally like an enterprise. And they're saying in this particular instance, there's only one person. So they're kind of challenging the RICO part. Like, this is not really standing up to be a RICO. Let's see. Then, they talked about Cassie would be testifying this week. Spoke a little bit about Kim Porter. They talked about, and I think I mentioned this earlier, that Cassie was really upset with him because you guys know when Cassie started dating Diddy, she had a boyfriend, right? Diddy pursued her for a year. She broke up with her boyfriend, but he never broke up with Kim Porter. So they were saying that this was always a point of contention for Cassie, and the fact that he always had other women on Cassie, They mentioned Gina. I know if you guys watch Tasha K, Gina has been on the Tasha K show, right? Gina, I believe Gina said Diddy kicked her and stuff like that. Gina has a daughter or something. I think she had a baby and she unalive. Y'all know. I think they mentioned Gina by name. So a lot of us thought witness number 3 was Gina and that she didn't want to testify. But no, it's not Gina because they routinely said her name. So whoever the Jane Doe is, we don't know. I thought this was very telling too. So they said, this whole thing with Cassie, they said it's about jealousy. Now, this is Diddy's team saying this. The whole thing with Cassie is this jealousy, toxic relationship, all of that stuff, DV, but it's not this trafficking. And they said that after Kim Porter's funeral and after, he made the statements about, that she kind of knew that his heart was with Kim, they haven't seen each other since then. That was the last time. So she said, when Cassie testifies this week, they will be seeing each other for the first time, I believe, she said, in 6 years, and this will be their closure. Everybody was like gasping. Oh, wow. Keeping it real with Kiki says, it was enough for Kales. Then please throw the book at him. Thank you for your reports. Then please. And you know what? Thank you for joining. You guys, please hit the like button. I said this case is very parallel to R. Kelly. I mean, it's the same. You got the same, pretty much the same charges. The trafficking. I think they talked about minors, but so far in opening arguments, we haven't heard anything about minors. But with R. Kelly, they did talk about the minors. But everything is the same. The trafficking across state lines, the enterprise, all of this stuff, paying off people, to keep this stuff out of the court. So I think it's very similar to R. Kelly, which is why I feel, that he's probably gonna get. I mean, I don't know. We just seeing we're just now seeing the evidence. And to be honest, but I think based on what she like keeping it real with Kiki, I feel like just based on what we've seen in the media, right, he would do time. But as we see Brian Steele and the defense come in, it's kind of, if it's reasonable doubt, I think these attorneys are sharp enough to have some people have some doubt. Now, will they get a unanimous decision? I don't know. But like I said, with the police officer, the way he was poking holes, and all of these things you're saying on the witness stand today under penalty of perjury, you didn't have that in your incident report. So it's kind of late in the game for you to come and add all these details. And even if you didn't have it in the report, when you talk about a person's eye was purple, but you didn't get any kind of seek medical attention, did you ice it? Did you call the paramedics? Did you call the hospital? Did you call the police? You didn't do any of that. But you recorded it to show your wife, like, oh, check this out. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? So his hands were dirty too. And I wasn't clear as to whether or not, I know there was some talks about $100,000 in that tape being handed off. I was not clear on if he was the perpetrator. So that's something I got to follow up for you guys and find out. But they said when Cassie sees Diddy in court this week, that will be their closure. That's crazy. It's crazy also because most of the attorneys that we were sitting with, the cluster people that are, who have seen the evidence that are close to the case, say that Cassie did not want to see Diddy go to jail. This was not her intentions. That Cassie loved him at some point, really loved him, and that the relationship was bad. And there are some women who are in abusive relationships, and they do love the man, but this was not her intentions. And if it weren't for the fact that she probably was going to possibly be brought up on some charges, she wouldn't be testifying against him. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what her testimony is like. Is she going to be a hostile witness? Who knows? Because she got her money. She got what she wanted. So if she really wanted to press charges, she could have. If you guys remember, when this first came out, people were asking her what's next, and they wanted her to speak out. Remember? I don't remember the periodicals that I saw it in, or what, media. But I remember them asking her, like, what's next? Are you going to da-da-da? And she was like, I'm not going to speak on it anymore. I'm done. Of course, because she signed the NDA. Yeah, so she was like, at that point, before the feds came and, took this case to the indictment, she was not supposed to be speaking on it, right? But she was done with it. And she could have got criminal charges a long time ago, and she didn't. So, let's see. Another thing, you guys, that they talked about. This was on the defense side. They said that, okay. So they talked about the blackmail. So they said that, there's talk that Diddy was going to blackmail her with these sex tapes and all of this stuff, and that's one of the reasons that she stayed. But what they said is that the tapes that they have found, number one, they said, now this was said during, I'm going to fact check and double check it for you guys, because I don't want to give you misinformation. We're writing feverishly, right? Trying to get everything. They said that there was no tapes of Cassie in Diddy's house when they raided it. Did y'all hear what I said? There weren't any tapes of Cassie. You know where they got the tapes with Cassie? From Cassie. So that's what they're bringing up. Like, you said that Diddy said he was going to blackmail you with tapes, but we didn't find any tapes that he had of you. The only tapes that we found are the videos of you. You had them. Go figure. They made that point today. So if you're saying that he was going to blackmail you, well, we didn't see any, we didn't find nothing to support that. And why you got the tapes? 5 of them. If somebody has some tapes, or you have some video tapes and you don't ever want them to be seen, why would you have them? Y'all answer that question. So they brought that up. Then they also brought the fact of that Diddy hired Alex Fine, her husband, or Kevin Fine, that he hired the trainer for her. Then you start dating the trainer while you dating Diddy, while Diddy paying for it. So it's kind of painting her kind of a little bit loosey-goosey, just a little bit. But to be honest, that's okay, because he wasn't faithful either. So, I understand. How are you guys going to really, paint her as a, kind of out there, but I get their point in the sense that he was paying for this trainer. You start going with the trainer the same way you broke up with your boyfriend to be with Diddy. Then you break up with Diddy to be with the trainer. But hell, Diddy was dating everybody too. So, you can't even really use that argument, in my opinion, but that's something that they brought up. They also said that Cassie was pissed off after she heard that Kim Porter was his soulmate, because Cassie wanted to be his wife for years. Now, I don't know, because I've heard rumors that Cassie wanted to have a baby. I don't see why she couldn't. Loosey-goosey, yeah. That's what my mama used to say, right? Don't be going out of this house like no loosey-goosey. Put on, like I was a little thick, right? Put something, cover up. So, back in the day, we always had to wear a little shirt, a little shirt. Like I think in the 80s, 90s, we used to wear them little shirts to cover you. Now the shirts got to be up here. Everything got to be hanging out, right? I mean, with the BBLs, you got to be showing everything. But they said that Cassie wanted to be his wife and that she was really pissed off that he would marry her. He didn't want to marry nobody. So they're saying that was something really big. So I'm reading these notes. It says, after Kim's funeral, they never saw each other again. We'll see them together in court this week for them to finally get closure. I was like, damn, what kind of closure is it going to be? Because clink, clink, you're trying to put the man in prison. And honestly, you guys, to be honest, the way I see it, I don't think Cassie was trying to really hurt Diddy. I don't. I think Diddy did some bad things, clearly. But Cassie may have done some bad things too. Nobody deserves to be beat up, but they had a bad relationship. But is it trafficking? I don't know. We got to get more evidence, because just the way they're talking now, so far, I'm not seeing that. I'm hearing that was kind of swingers. It sounds like swingers. I don't know. Now, another interesting thing is the fact that the ex-worker talks about an incident where there was something that happened and she got scared or whatever. She jumped in his lap, but then he said that she one time they never really kissed, right? I guess they would just have the physical interactions. But then there was one point in which it was passionate. He said, oh, God. Yeah, it wasn't no regular little, robotic type of thing. He said that it was a passionate kiss. So to me, they're going to try to paint the picture that at some points and sometimes Cassie was into it as well. I don't know. Just hearing him say it like that kind of painted the picture that they may be going down the line, And he said that Cassie had asked him for some D pics. I don't know. Okay, so that was kind of confusing to me. So I'm like, okay, is she asking for the D pics for herself, or is she asking for the D pics for Diddy? I couldn't figure that one out. I don't know. But that was kind of crazy. So like she was telling him he had the biggest that she had ever, and then there was another incident where it was him, Cassie, and another guy and Diddy. So then that is the biggest freak off I've heard so far. That's the biggest four. I mean, so far I haven't heard any celebrity entanglements or activities. It's just been, these workers and Diddy and her. Let's see. Then they go on to talk about his Jane Doe relationship, that it was pretty much similar to how he treated Cassie. Let's see. Yeah, so, and then they kind of go into closing. Yeah, so, I mean, do y'all have any questions? Yeah, the officers, and they kind of just go. And some of it is just boring, because they're kind of recounting everything. And, the attorneys are very technical, asking them, well, blah, blah, this, the left or the north side. That I'm like, I don't even know my right from I know my right from my left, but north side, I don't know. Hell, we in the courtroom. But it was really interesting. There are a lot of people here. It was just wild, very wild, based on the first day and just the way the arguments are going. I didn't see anything. I see that Diddy was abusive. Agreed. Was Diddy wrong? Yes, but I haven't still seen all of these Justin Bieber and these minors and all of these big freak offs. It's just not. I haven't seen it yet. I was in the court today. Mom stirred in. Yeah, I was in the courtroom today. This was the day one of opening arguments for prosecutors and the defense. So, and I took copious notes. I mean, like I said, I used to be a litigation secretary. So Um, you know, I I took very good notes. Some people are going to get the actual transcripts. If you like to listen to transcripts, infamous Sylvia is going to be going doing the line items, and reading exactly verbatim what was said, so you'll get a better picture. But I was able to kind of listen and pinpoint the things that I felt were key, and things that I would counter and want to ask. Yeah, so that was pretty much it, you guys. Day one, and we're expected to see Cassie tomorrow. Um, it's gonna be that's gonna be a big one, and like I said, Cassie's husband. I don't know. So at the end of the day, we saw Diddy's daughters. The twins were there. They were kind of like all in the front. They spent some time outside talking to, I guess, family. There, he has a lot of family here. There are people, I think, who knew him from. I don't want to say. I don't know what part of New York they knew him from, but people are here that knew Diddy, and people from the neighborhood. They're here to support him. His mother. Now that's another thing. Like I said before, there were 3 rows of, with the in the gallery, the galley, whatever they call it, in the court. So the 6 pack of women were first. Then they had Diddy's attorneys behind, and then Diddy had so many attorneys, right? And so right behind there, you had the gallery, the people sitting out in the audience, and Diddy's mother was kind of uh almost right behind him, and I kind of felt bad because Diddy from Mount Vernon. Okay, well, some people from his area were here because I got to talk to him. One guy was like, I used to manage Mike Tyson, and people from I guess who are into the music industry or whatever, different people. We knew they were somebody, but I didn't know all of them. It was people from radio stations, 97 point. Y'all, that I done damn near forgot to tell y'all. Lauren LaRosa. I sat next to Lauren LaRosa from the Breakfast Club. So she was here today. She looks so pretty. She's tall, slim. She's just a gorgeous girl. Dota says, or a nothing burger, haha, internet. Where are the DRUGSs? They were present because his attorney did say that he did do that, but the minors, nothing so far. No minors. I mean, that doesn't mean they're not going to come, but the whole Justin Bieber thing, a lot of us expected like explosive, because this is opening argument. That's where they kind of lay the foundation out that we got this, we got that, and we're going to prove this. They ain't say nothing about no minors. Did not. No. Lauren LaRosa from the Breakfast Club, she was there, so she sat next to us. So it was, and so she was talking to people, and like I said, Diddy's publicist was there, and just a lot. I mean, you get so much behind the scenes information when you're actually talking to the people. And the way I see it is that at this point, there was just nothing, no smoking G-Win. It's like, okay, where was the trafficking? Like, these was like the SEX worker. This was a grown man. He appeared to be a up in age gentleman. This is what you wanted to do. You kept going back. He never said he was threatened. He got paid. Like, y'all did this. That's what y'all wanted to do. Is nothing. Now, Dodu, if I'm saying your name right, I don't know if he gonna be free now. I mean, this is only day one. They might have some hardcore evidence, but at this point, they're gonna have to do a whole lot better. I'm just saying. But everybody say the feds never lose. So I'm like, okay, well, I mean, if they don't ever lose, they're not knocking it out the ballpark right now. The evidence is just, they're not giving us anything. And Dory Dodu, I apologize if I'm saying the name wrong. as I was stating earlier, the very first witness, who was the security person who filmed that video of Cassie in the hallway, the CNN tape that we saw. First of all, the tape that we saw was actually 7 minutes, so it was much longer than the one that they played, on television. His story, it has holes in it. He's saying things today that he didn't put in his incident report, and Brian still just kind of stomped all over that. So that wasn't good. I mean, it's not like he disproved anything, but it kind of, the credibility becomes an issue. And when you're talking about a jury, you want everybody to be on one accord and go, oh, well, yeah, he's very consistent and concise, but that wasn't the case. When he challenged, well, why didn't you say that then? And you're saying different things now. That's a red flag, right? So I was really surprised. I just thought I was going to hear some horrific stuff. We've seen the video, but that video was domestic violence. And if you're from an urban environment, unfortunately, I don't condone it, but I've seen women, be smacked, and men, but you don't necessarily get RICO charges for that. So they're really going to have to be heavily and really tie this together, because a lot of people are just saying, we're not seeing the enterprise, the conspiracy, or he did some bad stuff. But for life, you're going to have to make it a little bit better. But look, R. Kelly, they got R. Kelly, but I know R. Kelly had the minor, so I don't know. The video of him with Cassie. The video of him with Cassie, that was him. His attorneys admitted that. So they admitted that that's him in the video, but they're saying that this is not Cassie trying to escape a freak off, because that's what they're trying to say. They're saying that it's Diddy and Cassie having a domestic violent episode, which was fueled by jealousy and a toxic relationship, which doesn't rise to, what the prosecuting team is saying. So that was kind of where they landed. That was their point. This is not trafficking, and now tomorrow, y'all, all of us are going to be going crazy. I wish there were so many people buzzing around. Oh yeah. I told you guys I saw Jaguar, right? Okay. So I told you guys so Jaguar, I think she probably was in the courtroom. Jag was walking with her crew. When that song said, when I walk through. That's how Jag came. And it was funny because we were all in line, and then I saw this kind of small, petite woman kind of strutting through. I mean, she had a walk about her. Jag just kind of, and she was walking very, stern and very confident. And I was like, who is this? And I recognized the hat. She had on her little pillbox hat, or whatever kind of hat that is. And I was like, that's Jaguar. So we saw her. And I mean, it was like everybody was there. It was nice. Y'all, I had my Rumi Carter on. Hey. So you guys, thank you for joining me tonight. Please hit that like button. Loving you. I'm going to get you a t-shirt. I'll get you a t-shirt, girl. But I've been going in there wearing my shirts, y'all. I'm the only one up in there trying to advertise. People are like, who are you? What's your channel? Duh. Can you read? Can you read? Or you got a problem with reading? It says celebrity scandalous. Can you look? Y'all don't want to look at my chest. It ain't that small. It's right in front of your face, okay? Swag Champ says love, peace, and nappiness. Okay. So come back. I got to figure out how to mod you. So please come back tomorrow. And I'm not trying to get you to come back for the likes. It ain't that. But please come back, Swag Champ, so I could try to mod you. Okay. And thank you guys for joining me. Hit the like button on your way out. I'm going to come back tomorrow. If y'all got any questions, do y'all got anything you want me to do tomorrow? Anybody you want me to see, try to get a picture of, try to get some questions for? Y'all, I saw Tisa, and I asked her about the fact that they said she was going to be sued. She said that's a lie. She said people were saying she's pregnant. She ain't pregnant. Tisa was looking good. She tall, snatched. She looked good. These ain't pregnant. Well, now let me say this. She said people was saying, she pregnant and all this. She didn't look pregnant, you guys. That's all I'm saying. Oh, okay. I'll see. Actually, Lauren has been part of in our little circle. So I'll get close enough to tell her, Swag Champ says, I love you. Okay, I'll tell her. She looks so, she is very pretty. Makeup was on point, hair perfect. I mean, outfit was good. Like I had my like little sweats on, cargo pants and my little t-shirt, but some of the ladies came in there sharp. They had their suits on and they look good. But I will tell Lauren, Swag Champ says, I love you. I will tell her. Okay, you guys, have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.